What did Jesus say? Ask and it shall be given to you. What does he mean? What did Jesus mean when he was telling us that? Seek and you shall find, ask and it shall be given to you.
Oh, I got they ass now.
This is the unwritten truths, what they never taught us about us. They taught us to start our story with chains. But the truth, we built before we were broken. We mapped stars, carved kingdoms into stone, spoke languages the wind still remembers. They didn't civilize us, they studied us. Then they erased the evidence. Books burned, names buried, legacies stolen, then resold. They said we were savages, but we were surgeons, philosophers, mathematicians.
The Moors, a group of North Africans, ruled Spain for 781 years, from 711 to 1492, crossing the Strait of Gibraltar from Morocco. They transformed the Iberian Peninsula. Known for their architectural brilliance, they built stunning mosques, palaces, and universities, many still standing today. The African Moors introduced Arabic numerals to Europe, revolutionizing mathematics. Their medical advancements led to groundbreaking treatments and widely used textbooks. In astronomy, they developed precise ways to measure time and track celestial bodies. They also contributed to botany, introducing new plants and designing breathtaking gardens. Their expertise in bricklaying gave rise to architectural masterpieces like the Alhambra in Granada. Through their writings, they preserved history, leaving a legacy that continues to be studied. The Moors' influence on Europe remains undeniable, shaping science, art, and culture for centuries.
Abd al-Rahman was an Umayyad prince of mixed Arab and African ancestry. May 756, he became ruler of Islamic Spain and the first of the important Umayyad monarchs.
Today, we are together. We are unified and on one accord. When we are together, we got power. That is why we gather today, celebrate our own.
We spit flows on foes. Listen to the message that you never know. Got a plan for the man in this federal, the rhyme animal. Back to play the part again. Clear the madness and put the message in deep.
Divided the country into military districts and administered it on this basis, creating a standing army of 40,000 men, mostly Africans. He also began a navy and agriculture. He made developments that led to the growth of the farming industry. He introduced accurate land surveying, built granaries to combat food shortages, and established effective irrigation canals. From the Middle East, he imported cotton, fruits, rice, spices, sugarcane, and vegetables, the industries that developed from Abd al-Rahman I's policies. In time, these policies stimulated Spanish farming and other industries. Sugarcane and cotton were planted near the Mediterranean coastal regions. Figs and olives were farmed in the south. Oranges and wine were cultivated in Granada and Malaga provinces. Oranges, rice, and palm trees sprouted in Valencia. Silk industry grew up in Murcia. Leatherwork and dyeing flourished in Cordova. Ordnance developed in Toledo. Ceramics industry prospered in Almeria. Now this is what the Science Museum in Grenada has to say. Great advances were also made in hydraulic technology in Al-Andalus. The traditions of engineering were combined with new ideas emanating from the Islamic world from two principal areas, Syria and North Africa. The Eastern writer, Al-Yazari, was a leading proponent of these new ideas. Some of the hydraulic devices developed in Al-Andalus were as follows. A. Water lifting devices. watermill or water wheel powered by flowing water, consists of a vertical wheel with no gear set, located on rivers or watercourses and powered by the force of the water. Water is collected from the river or watercourse in buckets or compartments on the outside of the wheel or mill and lifted up to a higher level. Animal-powered water lifting device, the most widely used system in Al-Andalus for extracting water. These were wheels powered by an animal and consisted of two drive wheels. A horizontal wheel powered by an animal connected to the wheel by a wooden shaft. A vertical wheel positioned inside the well with buckets on the outside which fill with water at the bottom before being emptied into a trough at the top.
Wake up, wake up! You've got the power!
The Moors, a group of North Africans, ruled Spain for 781 years, from 711 to 1492. Crossing the Strait of Gibraltar from Morocco, they transformed the Iberian Peninsula. Known for their architectural brilliance, they built stunning mosques, palaces, and universities, many still standing today. The African Moors introduced Arabic numerals to Europe, revolutionizing mathematics. Their medical advancements led to groundbreaking treatments and widely used textbooks. In astronomy, they developed precise ways to measure time and track celestial bodies. They also contributed to botany, introducing new plants and designing breathtaking gardens. Their expertise in bricklaying gave rise to architectural masterpieces like the Alhambra in Granada. Through their writings, they preserved history, leaving a legacy that continues to be studied. The Moors' influence on Europe remains undeniable.
Yet there's a silence about the presence of these black individuals in Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales before the 15th century. A silence that shrouds the impact of Moorish knowledge on European enlightenment, their architectural marvels, their cultural exchanges. A silence that masks the rich tapestry of multiculturalism woven into the fabric of Europe's past. So as we delve into history, let us remember, it's not just about the victors, it's about the silenced, the overlooked, the forgotten. It's about the Moors, the black presence in pre-15th century Europe.
Do you realize that the most racist scientific community ever were 19th century anthropologists? They're the ones that set up the race and this, and white male humans were at the top of the evolutionary ladder, and blacks and everybody else were lower, closer to the apes and all of this. If you called someone Neanderthal, that was an insult. Like, they're still evolving. In the 1990s, now that we can do genetic tracking and things, the world found out that Europeans are between 1% and 3% Neanderthal genetically, and Africans are 0% Neanderthal. So in the 1990s, research papers started coming out talking about how creative and imaginative the Neanderthals must have been.
To not be fooled.
This architecture in Europe was built by black African people, called the Moors, who ruled Europe for 800 years between 711 and February 2nd, 1492.
At the peak of this civilization, we built schools, universities, libraries, mosques, churches, palaces. We paved the streets, built over 2,000 public baths, and taught Europeans how to bath, taught them how to dress up elegantly, and the whole time we brought them to Africa as slaves.
Well-paid slaves, so.
Today, we are together. We are unified and on one accord. When we are together, we got power. That is why we gather today, celebrate our own.
We spit flows on foes, listen to the message that you never know. Got a plan for the man in this federal, the rhyme animal, back to play the part again. Clear the madness and put the message in deep.
The Moors were Muslim inhabitants of North Africa who rose to power in the early 8th century. In 711 CE, led by General Tariq ibn Ziyad, they crossed the Strait of Gibraltar into Spain, defeating the Visigoths at the Battle of Guadalete. This marked the start of a new era in the Iberian Peninsula. The Moors quickly established control over much of Spain and Portugal, creating the Islamic state of Al-Andalus. They brought advanced knowledge in science, medicine, architecture, and philosophy, transforming cities like Cordoba into centers of learning and culture. The Great Mosque of Cordoba became a symbol of their architectural brilliance. For centuries, the Moors coexisted with Christians and Jews in a period often referred to as the convivencia, though it was not without conflict. Their rule began to decline with the Reconquista as Christian kingdoms gradually reclaimed territory. By 1492, the fall of Granada marked the end of Moorish rule in Spain. The rise of the Moors was more than conquest. It was a cultural revolution that left an enduring mark on European history.
European women were often captivated by the black Moors when they arrived in Europe due to their exotic appearance, intelligence, and refined culture. The Moors brought advanced knowledge in science, mathematics, and architecture, along with luxurious goods, fashion, and courtly manners that impressed European society. Their confidence, wealth, and charisma made them highly attractive, especially in noble and royal circles where cultural exchange was common.
Years old, his holy book. St. George slaying the dragon. Here is the Virgin Mary, the Black Madonna, Black Jesus. Yes. Later on, after division of Europeans, from black chained to white Virgin Mary. I can show you both painting in here inside. The original one is the black one. Yes. Black Jesus also. How it was to read these, you know. It was prayer for us, Abba. You can listen to him.
Slavery wasn't our origin, it was their opportunity. They didn't capture people, they captured knowledge. We weren't just taken, we were targeted because we were the source. Chains turned into contracts, whips turned into policies, plantations became prisons, they outlawed our drums. Then sold us the beat. They silenced our tongues, then rewrote the dictionary. Black labor built the roads, the railroads, the wealth, but we were never in the photo. They called it progress, but we called it theft. Every war we fought, we still came home to red lines, burned cities, and empty promises. And yet, we still rise, still invent, still build. We are the story they couldn't bury, the bloodline they couldn't break. Now the veil is cracking, now the truth is leaking. And this time, we're the ones holding the pen. This isn't history class, this is revelation. Follow at Black Knowledge Network. The app is coming. This is the Unwritten Truths.
Today, we are together. We are unified and on one accord. When we are together, we got power. That is why we gather today, celebrate our own.
We spit flows on foes. Listen to the message that you never know. Got a plan for the man in this federal. The rhyme animal, back to play the part again. Clear the madness and put the message in deep.